suggest we get started because we have a very full agenda this morning, and I want to try and respectfully do our best to get through it on time. It is so wonderful to see everyone here this morning, see so many faces, even those with off camera, to see those names and some familiar members of our community. Welcome to the Organic Council of Ontario's 2025 Annual General Meeting. I'm Krysten Cooper. I've had the honor of serving as president and chair of the board for the past couple of years. I'm really glad to have everyone here today and to talk about kind of what's been going on and what's exciting in the future of organics. Before we dive in, I'd like to just do a land acknowledgement and to acknowledge where we are meeting from. We're here from all across Ontario. So we acknowledge that there are 46 treaties and other agreements that cover the territory now called Ontario, where the Organic Council of Ontario membership resides. We are thankful to be able to work and live in these territories. We are grateful to the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people who have cared for these territories since the time immemorial and who continue to contribute to the strength of Ontario and to all communities across the province. If you have your own land acknowledgement that you would like to share, please use the chat. And if you'd like to learn more about these treaties and the Indigenous nations that are connected specifically to your region, we're going to put a link in the chat there as well to direct you to some more resources. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping here before we get started. We'd like you to introduce yourselves. So please take a moment now. You can use the Zoom to change your name so that we can see your full name and the organization that you represent. This is really helpful for us to accurately capture the attendance in the AGM minutes. And if we need to validate anyone's membership or anything at any point, this just allows us to use that data. So if you, in your little square with your video, if you see those three dots in the upper right-hand corner, if you click on that and scroll down, you'll see rename, and you can use that to change your name and indicate your organization. So first and last name is really helpful. This meeting is being recorded, and we will share that link with all the members after the meeting, and we'll also be uploading it to our YouTube channel for those who weren't able to join today. If you're not able to stay for the whole meeting, or if you'd like to share the recording with someone else, you will have access to it afterward. Okay, I think this is the fun stuff. So everyone who is here today, we're really grateful for your participation, your ongoing support of the Organic Council. And so we have a little raffle to say thank you for being here this morning. You'll see the QR code there on the screen. We'll also put the link in the chat. And if you would like to put your name into the draw, we have a $100 gift card from Yorkshire Valley Farms to their online shop, which ships frozen organic poultry products to homes across Ontario. So get yourself some dinner and take a night off this summer as this heat wave continues. And just a reminder, the membership package that was sent out ahead of the AGM contains links to some documents. We'll put those in the chat throughout the meeting as well, but you should have the link to the AGM agenda for today, the minutes from last year's agenda, our 2025 financial statements, which we will do a walk through a little bit later. We have a couple of proposed bylaw changes that we'd like to present and pass, and our 2024 OCO bylaws were also included in the package that went out so you can understand the changes that are being proposed. So again, lots of things coming at you in the chat. If you're looking for something, you can't find it, just message, and one of the staff will drop that in so you can access it. And then I think just one more little housekeeping thing is a quick note about how to use Zoom today for our conversation. So you're welcome to use the chat at any time to ask questions or add comments. We will probably gather up those questions and try and tackle things at the end to just keep things moving. But please, if we can't get to your question during the live portion of the AGM today, we can follow up with you. So the chat is a really helpful way to get that question into the space, and we'll be downloading the chat afterwards so that we can follow up on questions we can't tackle in our time. So you can use that anytime. You can also use the raise your hand function if you'd like to participate in a motion. And so that will help us as we work through some of our agenda. If anything goes wrong with your connection, I would suggest leaving and then rejoining, and the staff will be monitoring the waiting room to make sure that people can get let in. It's kind of the classic IT, turn it off, turn it on generally fixes most things. So give that a shot first if there's something that you're having trouble staying in the meeting. So yeah, we'll keep putting things in the chat. The voting form, which I think we popped up at the beginning, but maybe if we can pop that up again. Voting is open until 10:30, but that would be a hard closing it out at 10:30 as we need to be able to tally the votes. So if you have not voted, please take a minute to do that. And again, membership materials, the raffle link, those things are all in the chat. Okay, and just a quick reminder about board voting. If you haven't yet cast your vote, as we said, please do that. Now is the time. And I think we checked on that. Okay, so let's just talk about how are we going to do motions as we're moving through that in the meeting. If you would like to make a motion or second a motion as those are brought forward, please use the chat function on the side of your Zoom window. You can just type I move or I second if you're the second person, along with your full name so that we can track and record who has supported those motions. When the motions come up, we will ask if anyone would like to abstain or if anyone is in opposition to help us understand where people's points of view are on those. So again, you can use the chat or your hand, raise your hand to indicate your participation. We do require a majority of the membership to support the motion in order for it to pass. So we do appreciate you participating. If you want to turn your camera off, that's okay. And you're listening in the background, but when those motions come up, we appreciate folks participating to help move those things along. And if you are joining us by phone, you can also still participate. You just need to confirm your membership status with our staff before voting. And do you want to put that phone number in the chat? I can say it out loud, but people probably would be helpful if we put the phone number and the email in case people need to reach out to be able to participate, not through the Zoom. All right, and then just in terms of the voting guidelines, so all the voting is happening online. Again, link within the AGM package. We've got it here in the chat. Only members who are in good standing, so this means that your membership dues are paid or you are a certified organic producer, are eligible to vote. There are different categories. So we have producer certified, value chain certified, value chain uncertified, and supporter categories, all with nominations this year. And only the members in those categories vote for those respective seats. So a supporter votes for a supporter. For non-industry members, such as associations or individuals, you can vote in the supporter category. And if you're unsure what your membership category is, just send us a message in the chat and we'll help get that clarified. I think that's all the housekeeping. Yes? All right. So I would like to officially call the meeting to order. We will go through just quickly what's on the agenda here. In the AGM package, again, you have the full agenda. You have last year's AGM minutes. You have the financials, the proposed bylaw changes. Again, links will be in the chat. I'll kind of kick us off here with some of the administrative stuff, and then I'll pass it over to Erica to do a year in review. So could I please have a motion to approve the 2025 AGM agenda as presented?
I'll motion.
Thank you.
Can I get your name for the minutes, please?
That's Lauren Stallard.
Sorry, I can't see everyone. Thank you.
And I see in the chat that Norm Hansen has seconded the motion. So thank you for that. Okay. All right, and this motion is carried. Great. And then we're just before we move over to Erica, we're just going to do an approval of the AGM minutes from last year. Again, this was circulated in advance. So that just is a capture of what was discussed last year. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the 2024 AGM? Thank you to Rob Walbridge, who has supported that in the chat. And could I have someone to second the motion? And Norm Hansen has seconded in the chat there. Thank you, Norm. All right, the motion is carried. So let's dive into the fun stuff. I'm going to introduce Dr. Erica Shelley, OCO's Executive Director. For those of you who have been supporters of OCO and joined us on our journey, you may remember Carolyn Young, who was the executive director prior and made some great contributions in 2024. So I just wanted to acknowledge Carolyn and all the work that she had put into OCO in its past. And some of those efforts will be reflected in the work that you see here that we're sharing. But Erica joined us last October, and she arrived with enthusiasm, with great energy, with great passion, and we're really, really grateful to have us here on the team. She brings with her a really rare combination of scientific expertise, strategic thinking, and a deep care for the land and the people who farm it. She has a PhD in molecular and medical genetics. I won't even pretend that I know what that means, but it's a wonderful background that supports her knowledge of sustainable agriculture. And then particularly, she has focused on the pollinator space, beekeeping. So she's no stranger to complex systems or to the critical importance of pollinators, and the impact that they have across all of our organic agriculture focus. So as an inventor and an advocate, she has spent years working on biological alternatives to pesticides and developing tools to support ecosystem health. And as I said, she's jumped into OCO, I don't know, more than 2 feet first. And she's quickly, worked to start to make those connections, to get to know this community, to get to know our allies and our supporters, and bringing together those farmers, those policymakers, researchers, the eaters, the consumers, as we, continue to push forward for a stronger Ontario organic community. And, really, I think one of the core components of OCO is building trust. And Erica has done some great work in her short time with us already to push that forward. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Erica Shelley, and she and our staff team will take you through some of the highlights.
Wow, thank you, Krysten. That was really in depth, and I really appreciate all the kind words. So it's been 9 months since I've stepped into this role, and I can honestly say it's been both exciting and energizing. With my background in pollinators, as Krysten mentioned, food systems, environmental science, this work feels like an absolute natural fit. So we're on to the next slide here. So I want to first start by thanking the board for their support through this transition, and of course, our members. Your trust and your commitment are what keeps us moving forward here at OCO. We're not doing it alone. There are a number of incredible partners, often working quietly in the background, who make our work possible. So first, a big thank you to our impact partner, Finnings Organic Farm. They've built their support for OCO directly into their business, contributing a percentage of every single purchase to help fund our work. That kind of leadership makes a real difference, and we hope it sparks others to do the same in their own way. We also want to recognize the generous support from several of our key funding partners, the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Agribusiness, OMAFA, Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, the AFC, the Prairies Organic Development Fund, POTIF, and Foodland Ontario. Through their ongoing support and many others, it helps us run programs, deliver events, and ensure the voice of organic is heard where it matters most. And of course, we're stronger because we're part of a national ecosystem. We work closely with our national partners, which include the Organic Federation of Canada, Canadian Organic Growers, the Canada Organic Trade Association, and the Canadian Organic Alliance, to make sure Ontario's voice is part of the bigger picture. Together, we are all building and working on alignment, sharing data, and driving forward initiatives that benefit not just Ontario, which is super duper important, but also the entire organic Canadian sector. So on to our membership slide here, as we reflect on the partners and supporters who help make our work possible, I want to turn now to the heart of OCO, our members. Whether you're certified organic or just passionate about building a better food system, you are a part of the solution. And membership is just one of the ways we stay connected and move this work together, forward together. And by choosing to be certified organic in Ontario, you're automatically enrolled as a basic member of OCO. A lot of people don't realize that, but we actually include everyone that's certified organic in our membership. If you're not certified, though, you can still be involved. You can come in as a supporting member, which is designed for individual advocates who care deeply about the future of organic. That membership also allows you to vote in today's board election in the supported category before 10:30. So the link right now is put in the chat by Sami, and our staff is there if you have any questions about your membership type or your status. We've restructured our membership tiers this year to better reflect our members and provide broader benefits. From producers and organic businesses to to associations and advocates and those who've integrated support directly into the organic sector with their operations, like Finnings, their impact partners. If you're in a position to align your business with this kind of leadership, as we've seen from Finnings, that path is open to you. It's not about recognition, it's about choosing to build organic into how we all work. We're also continuing to expand what we offer to our members, and more importantly, we're listening. You'll hear more about that shortly, but know that everything we're building is shaped by your input and guided and grounded in your experience. My apologies there. All right, let's shift gears and take a look at what we've actually done over the past year and the amazing work our team has been leading. The next part is more than just checking boxes. It's about telling the story of how we've been showing up in the field, in the inboxes, on the phone, in front of our policymakers, and alongside our members to strengthen organic in Ontario. You'll see on this slide that we've organized this plan around our new strategic plan, and it focuses on 3 core pillars: building consumer demand, enabling data leadership, and deepening member engagement. Even though the strategy guides our path forward, it's already in motion. We've been actively laying the groundwork with tools, partnerships, events, and outreach that reflect exactly where we want this sector to go. Because let's be honest, we know the value of organic. But we also know that for it to thrive, consumers need clarity, farmers need support, and the whole system needs trust, visibility, and connection. This is the beginning of a bigger shift, not one where we're alone, but where we're all working together with our members, our staff, our partners to make organic not only viable, but vital. So I'm going to hand it over to our team now to walk you through some of the highlights from this past year and how it's all aligning with where we're headed next.
Okay, Brent, I think you can go to the next slide. Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Sami. I'm OCO's Public Engagement and Policy Manager. And Erica really set us up for the conversation that I'm about to start, which is really about information that folks can trust. And as we reflect on this past year, one of this message keeps coming through loud and clear. It's that farmers need access to organic information that they can use. It needs to be clear, trustworthy, and free from gatekeeping. Across Ontario and beyond, we're seeing more producers, especially new and transitioning ones, gravitating towards regenerative, natural, or local branding. And the reason is simple. Organic can feel too complex or out of reach. Here at OCO, we see that as both a challenge and an opportunity because when we simplify the path, highlight the real benefits, and equip farmers with practical tools, we don't just grow the sector, we make sure that no one gets left behind. This year, our work focused on just that, making organic feel possible, accessible, and worth it. Because when farmers walk away from organic, it's not just a missed opportunity for their business, it's a loss for our entire food system. Go to the next slide. Yes, this past year, one of our projects was the Grassroots Growth Initiative, a campaign to strengthen education and engagement across the organic sector in Ontario. We focused on 2 core areas. First was creating accessible, high-quality educational materials, and second, leading proactive outreach efforts to connect with both the public and the agri-food community online and in person. So this initiative has been about getting the right information into the hands of the right people. That could be either curious consumers, but with this project, we really took a special emphasis on producers navigating certification. Go to the next slide. And one of the major ways we built recognition for organic this year was through the Foodland Ontario Organic logo. This label does more than just mark a product, it signals trust, traceability, and a connection to Ontario grown food. By incorporating the logo across print and digital materials, we've helped folks feel more confident in organic while reinforcing the values of local, sustainable agriculture. Next. We also created some organic resources. So we built a landing hub, which brings together core articles, infographics, and all sorts of resources covering vital topics like certification and record keeping. We've digitized our print resources, making them easier than ever to download, share, and use, whether you're at a tabling event, fielding questions from customers, or just looking for information yourself. Next. Yeah, and offline materials are still vital, especially for workshops and in-person events. That's why we developed this full suite of educational materials. There's fact sheets, there's postcards, posters. They're all designed to explain organic in plain language. We also created videos. These will help tell the story of organic in a visual, relatable way. So these are real people in the organic community. And these resources are now live online and available for anyone in the sector to use. To reach a wider audience, we launched a multi-platform digital campaign. This included a plethora of social media posts, newsletter features, and ads, all driving folks towards our new resources and demystifying the organic label. The messaging was consistent, targeted, and organic focused. Whether it was breaking down myths or sharing real stories, our goal was to make organic easier to understand and trust. So the second half of this project was all about showing up. In 24-25, we hosted a farm and processor tours, in-person workshops, virtual sessions on everything from certification to marketing and even understanding market trends. We also attended several major public events, meeting people face to face and answering their questions directly. This kind of presence is key to growing trust and building relationships across the sector. For example, we brought organic front and center here at the EFAO conference. You can see our team right in the bottom there. Next. All right, so back to the resource hub. As shown before, we developed this resource hub to connect folks to organic information from their devices at home. This page features FAQs, videos, infographics, and downloadable tools for consumers, farmers, retailers alike. This hub is designed to be easy to navigate and easy to share, and we're continuing to update it with new content regularly. So we talked a bit about why farmers need to understand organic, but why do the public? Public trust is the foundation of everything that we do. We know that Canadians care about sustainability. We know that they care about their health and local food, but organic doesn't always get the credit it deserves. So that's where storytelling and visibility came in. When people see what organic looks like in videos, in a farm tour, or a shared post, their confidence grows. But greenwashing and misinformation can still cloud the picture. So that's why our strategy pairs storytelling with advocacy, and it's backed with consistent messaging across every channel. We're not just protecting the organic brand, we're helping it thrive. So that brings us to one of our other projects, scaling up organics. This is one of the biggest, or an answer to one of the biggest questions we face, which is how do we actually earn public trust in organic? In 2024 to 25, we set out to answer that in our second year of this coordinated effort. It's a national public trust campaign funded through the Agri-Communications Program. We worked with regional partners in Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Atlantic Canada, and obviously here in Ontario, and we built a shared strategy focused on the core ingredients of trust, which are transparency, education, clarity, and consistency. This meant aligning messaging across the country while allowing room for regional voices and local nuance. So together we created content that explained organic certification in plain language. It showed real-world examples of ecological farming, addressed common myths and misconceptions, and made the case for why organic matters for people, for the planet, and for our food systems. We know that public trust doesn't come from certification alone. It comes from making organic visible, relatable, and reliable. And that's what this campaign set out to do and will continue to do for the oncoming year. Perfect. You can change the slide. Awesome. This work has also strengthened OCO's role as a central source for organics in Ontario. From digital growth to public events, we've expanded our visibility and created new opportunities for partnerships, collaborations, and community building. Our reach continues to grow, and so does our ability to support members and advocate for the sector. This is what we're really excited about. One of our biggest infrastructure upgrades this year was the launch of our redesigned website. It actually officially went live yesterday. It's not just a new look, it's a better experience with improved navigation, mobile responsiveness, and tailored pathways for different users. It's now easier than ever for farmers, consumers, and policymakers to find what they're looking for. All right, so all of these efforts from the digital campaign to the resource hub and all these refreshed brandings, they're all part of a stronger foundation for what comes next. We've made it easier to find trustworthy organic information. We've created tools to support certification and public awareness, and we've built momentum that will carry into the year ahead, helping more people choose organic with confidence. This year, we've continued to work with the Organic Federation of Canada on a knowledge transfer, translation and transfer project. Through this initiative, OCO helps support 3 organic research studies, not just financially, but by playing an active role in translating their research into accessible, meaningful information for farmers, advocates, and the public. So these studies focus on integrative vineyard management for resilience to climate change, agronomy, and weed control for organic dry beans, and enhancing pasture systems to improve greenhouse gas mitigation in organic dairy. So this kind of work is critical and ensures that scientific knowledge doesn't stay siloed in academic circles. It gets shared, applied, and adapted in the real world. And when the public sees that organic practices are backed by data, rooted in environmental resilience, innovation, and applied, it strengthens our credibility. So sharing this research widely isn't just about improving our on-farm practices, it's about reinforcing that organic is forward-looking and science-informed. This helps deepen public trust across the board. Awesome. And I'd like to hand it over now to Irum for our research and policy.
Hello, good morning. So I'm Irum. I'm OCO's Research and Policy Manager. And I'll talk a little bit about why does research and advocacy work matter to Ontario's organic sector, and what have we at the Organic Council tried to do with that over the past year or so. So we know that organic producers, processors, businesses, we're all doing meaningful work, but we see this sort of lack of data to really back that up in conversations with policymakers, funders. Essentially, without that data, it's hard to make a strong case for support. And that's where my role comes in, to help OCO gather those insights from the sector, support meaningful research, and ensure, sorry, just letting someone in, ensure what we learn is being turned into strategy and action. So the goal is to strengthen the foundation of the sector with more evidence, more clarity, more alignment, so that Ontario's organic community can grow with confidence and speak with a really unified voice. Next slide, please. So we've been focusing on deepening our connection with the sector by always listening first. For example, we brought together a policy focus group, this member roundtable, if you will, that had farmers, processors, business owners, some of which are in the room with us today from across Ontario. And they talked candidly about what's working and what's not. And one member said something that really stuck with us, which was, why is farming the only occupation that you have to have a full-time job to support? And I think that really gets at the heart of why this work matters. Organic producers are passionate and they're committed, but really you're up against these structural barriers from pricing, mentorship gaps, policy blind spots. So in addition to that, we also have been reviving the Organic Value Chain Working Group. We had the breakfast at the Guelph Organic Conference, which brought together not only farmers and producers, but also certifying bodies, researchers, policymakers, who are also some of which in the room today with us. And we're working to bring that back as a standing group under Rob, who's one of our board members, under his guidance. And behind the scenes, we're also continuing to build relationships through government consultations, writing advocacy letters, attending sector summits, for example, the Organic Summit with CODA, helping to make sure that what we hear from you is actually making it to the table. Next slide, please. And much of the research that you're seeing here on this slide here is part of a longer story built through years of collaboration and shaped by the evolving needs of the organic sector in Ontario and also beyond across Canada. What we focused on in this past year is keeping that research work connected to the real world questions and priorities that we're hearing from farmers, businesses, and our sector partners. The Ontario Organic Market Report for 2024 was created with CODA, and it gives us a clear picture of how organic products are moving, where demand is growing, and where opportunities might be missed. We put out a labor report. We also worked with COG on a corn and grain report, and these are helping illuminate challenges around things like workforce retention, pricing pressures, regional gaps. With OSC4, we've helped support field trials and share findings through events like the Gulf Organic Conference, which you'll hear a little bit more about in a second, which keeps that research rooted in practice. And through our PODF collaboration, which you heard about from Sami, we have the Organic Grain Hub, which some of my colleagues are working on, which helps deliver monthly pricing data across the country, including Ontario. And that's a tool that has been asked for repeatedly and one that we're really proud to help build. And that's what research should do. It should reflect the sector's lived experience, and it should help us move forward. Next slide, please. One of the most exciting projects that we have ahead of us is the creation of this national organic data portal, something that we have heard loud and clear is urgently needed. Producers and policymakers alike, we know the challenge of making decisions in the dark, whether it's about pricing or inputs or processing capacity or labor. And we've heard again and again that the data exists, but it's scattered, it might be outdated, or it's just inaccessible. So this portal will begin to bring that information together. We have support from federal funding as well as our provincial partners under PODF, and we're building that infrastructure now with a first stage launch planned for March of 2026. So what goes into that portal is being shaped by people across the sector. For example, one of our members emphasized the need for transparent pricing data, so producers don't have to rely on phone calls to buyers just to figure out what something's worth. Another pointed out the importance of tracking processors and ingredient suppliers that are local to help localize those supply chains and reduce the reliance on imports. Another highlighted a future where the portal itself can evolve with user needs, suggesting AI tools to make the experience more responsive, kind of stressing the importance of building trust around data sharing. The portal is about more than just numbers, not just operator and acreage data, but it's also about creating this shared foundation for better decisions, to have stronger collaboration and more coordinated advocacy across the country. And with that, I will pass it off to Courtney.
Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney, and I am the OCO's Farmer Education and Events Manager. So I've had the pleasure of supporting organic farmers across Ontario, and we all know that farming isn't easy, but of course, organic farming adds that extra complexity. I saw Dean and Tiffany on the call, and I'm sure other organic farmers are joining us today. And so my role here at OCO has been to try and create the time, the space, and the resources for farmers to really collaborate and learn from one another, share experiences, and solve problems together. So we did this through our three major goals from this past year. The first is to create environments for peer and expert-led knowledge sharing. Second was building industry connections and more of a sense of community. And third would just be really to expand our reach and to be able to access farmers who are, in our very, very large province. So next slide, I'll talk a little bit about how we accomplished that this past year. The first, we hosted organic farm tours, organic operation tours across the province. And so big thanks to our hosts for opening up their farms and sharing their equipment setup, their field trials, just really talking about insights while we were there. And it was a great way for farmers and others like myself and other organic groups to ask questions and see firsthand what farmers are trying and what's working and what's not working so well, because many are navigating similar challenges. The second was through producer club meetings. And so these were more casual, but they still allowed for I guess, really pertinent topics to be discussed. And we focused this past year, we had two groups that were ongoing. We had the organic dairy producers, kind of Stratford, Kitchener, Guelph area. And then we also worked with the Growing Eastern Ontario Network, the organic growers out all the way like Cornwall area. And so they were meeting a bit more regularly. And there was just a great way to talk about kind of changes that were happening in the industry and talk about challenges and really help to foster that sense of community. And then, of course, we had the Guelph Organic Conference for the 44th year. And this was still held at the university. There were over 30 sessions on production, marketing, certification. So we'd really tried to span the whole value chain. And we had more than 50 speakers coming in. We had as many local farming heroes as we could, but we also had Gary Zimmer come in from the States and shared researchers. So the Ontario Science Cluster shared a lot of their findings from their trials. Okay, good. Next slide, please. And then in terms of expanding our farmer reach, so this was something that Sami talked quite a bit about. We gave the website a facelift. We revived our YouTube channel. If you've been receiving our newsletters, you'll be seeing that we have been producing lots of virtual workshops that are free and accessible on our YouTube channel. And then, as I mentioned, the in-person events that we tried to cover Ontario with our small team and targeted outreach. So we, of course, are targeting our farmers that we've been in communications with for a long time, but we also opened up many social media channels. We were on Facebook and just trying to bring in the new younger farmers too, through different means. Next, please. Okay, so just to highlight some new information about the Guelph Organic Conference. So as I mentioned, it's been running for 44 years, and we're giving it a facelift. The 2025 conference required a whopping 5,570 staff hours. So we put in so much time and work into it. And that is wonderful, but we've decided based on our strategic goals that we are going to cut back and just make it a little bit smaller, reduce the costs and some of the planning challenges. And in order to do so, we are going to be moving it to the Guelph Farmers Market, which is still in Guelph, and it's not very far away, but it's this big, beautiful building that hosts lots of conferences and events and trade shows. And so it's a very suitable spot. And this is going to allow OCO to focus on year-round events, so everything that we've been talking about. But then in terms of the actual event itself, we want to prioritize trade show attendance. We want to be able to make it more accessible through lower ticket prices and just focus on maybe less programming, but really nail down the quality and make sure that the voices are there that should be heard. Okay, that's all from me. And yeah, just thank you everyone on the call, the farmers, the staff partners for being here, and we're excited for what's ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Bryn and I'm the Membership Services and Data Analyst for the Organic Council of Ontario. And over the past month in this role, I've been focusing on building and strengthening relationships with our members while also helping to support data collection for ongoing projects. A big part of my work involves reaching out to members directly and listening to their feedback by phone, email, or a jot form, which you can see is on the QR code there. And this is to hear about their needs, get their input, and ensure they feel connected to the broader organic community in Ontario. As Erica mentioned earlier, we're listening, and specifically, I'm listening. These conversations have been really valuable, especially as we work toward launching our data portal. And I've been collecting up-to-date information and insights from members to help shape what that platform will look like exactly. I've also been responsible for updating member contact information and ensuring our records are current so we can keep people in the loop about opportunities, policy updates, upcoming events. Overall, it's been a really rewarding experience to be involved in projects that connect people and data in ways that strengthen the organic sector. And if you're interested in learning more about the data portal or you want to connect with me at all, you can email right there is my email, or you can drop your email in the chat and I can send the jot form to you and some other information.
I'm just over here talking to myself. I got my audio on now. All right. So, um, thank you so much. Our team is absolutely incredible here. So, huge shout out to Sami, Courtney, Irum, and Bren. And we're not a big team, but we are a mighty team, and I'm just so thankful. I call us the Hive, of course, being a beekeeper, and it allows us to all work together. So just as you would in a beehive. So we've covered a lot of ground today in terms of our year in review, and now it's time to shift our focus to the road ahead. So as you've heard, our team has been incredibly busy laying the groundwork for the future of organic in Ontario. Every program, every partnership, and every project aligns with our three pillars in our new strategic plan: building consumer demand, strengthening trust through better data, and delivering real value to our members. So, what does that look like in action in this coming year? We're hitting the ground running, and we have some exciting initiatives. So we have a Feed on the Farms tours that we're doing this summer to build connections between organic producers and the public. We have this whole new reimagined Guelph Organic Conference for our 45th year to focus on affordability, partnerships, and accessibility. We have major consumer campaigns, including an expanded organic directory. We're updating that organic directory on our website to include certified organic producers, but also others in this value chain so that it can all be reached. And we're storytelling. We're doing so many stories about the important things that we're doing in organics. So these initiatives, and we're spotlighting Ontario's organic producers. The launch of our national organic data portal is scheduled for March 2026, which will have tools and insights tailored for our sector. Keep in mind, it's version 1, and we have a lot more that will be added to it over the next several years, and we're in search for funding to even expand that further. We have our full website that we're going to continue updating with our resource library and making it easier to access tools, funding, and information. And most importantly, we want to strengthen our relationship with our members through new touch points, producer clubs that Courtney was talking about. And we're doing quarterly funding webinars now, so everyone can see what other money is out there, whether it's grants, loans, partnerships, all sorts of things that are available to you. We want to keep people strong in organics. We'll be talking more about how you can get involved, whether it's in attending the conference, joining a working group, or simply sharing your feedback right after the business portion of our meeting. So we're going to dive into that now. And I would like to introduce you to Brazil Gaffney-Knox from Juniper Community Beekeeping. Take it away, Brazil.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brazil Gaffney-Knox, as Erica said, from Juniper Community Bookkeeping. We're the bookkeepers for OCO. We've been working with OCO for just over a year now, although you might know me from previously working as an internal employee at OCO for a few years. So I'm here today to do the most fun part of the AGM, to take you through the auditor's report. A very important business, but not everyone's favorite part of an AGM. So you will have received the financial report from the auditors, and I'll just take you through each page, and please let me know if there are any questions as we go through. And so this is the independent auditor's report for the fiscal period ending March 31st, 2025. So next slide, please. Great. Okay, so the auditor's report includes their formal report letter, the statement of financial position, the statement of operations and changes in net assets, the statement of cash flows, and then the notes on the financial statements. I'll take you through those in just a second. Next slide. This is the auditor's report. This is standard for any audit. And one important note for this year is that this audit was for a 15-month period because OCO's year-end changed partway through the audit period. So the last audited statement was for the period ended December 31st. But since OCO's year-end changed to March 31st during this period, the auditors opted to run a 15-month audit. So you'll note, and the auditors have noted throughout the statements, that the comparative period is slightly less useful in these statements because you're comparing a 15-month period to the prior period, which is 12 months. But they still believe that the comparative numbers stand, and so they presented them in this way. Next slide, please. So just to start, the statement of financial position is a summary of the assets and liabilities of the organization. As you can see, the unrestricted net assets have increased in the 15-month period as compared to December 2023. Current assets include cash, and then any receivables that the organization has at the end of the period, as well as short-term investments. Current liabilities include any payables, so things that are owed to suppliers at the end of the period, and then any accrued expenses, so expenses related to the fiscal period that hadn't yet been paid out. As you can see, during this period, at the end of the period, the organization held no debt. And so that is what the statement of financial position shows. If there are no questions, I'll move on to the statement of operations. And someone would let me know if there are questions. I'll just check in the chat.
Nothing in the chat.
Great. Okay, so statement of operations. So for the fiscal year, this shows the expenses and revenues that have occurred. So on the revenue sides, grants remained the largest source of revenue for the organization. As you can see if we just go to the next slide, we have the grants are up there. Yeah, so as you can see in note 4, this breaks out the grants, and the 2 Grassroots Growth Initiative grants delivered by OMAFRA made up the largest portion of the revenue. As well, OCO continued to have employment grants from Eco Canada and Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, as well as a supply chain resilience grant from the Agricultural Adaptation Council. So if we move on, just back one slide, sorry. Yeah, so I'm just taking us through the revenue section. So that's the grants. Events, you'll notice, is slightly larger or significantly larger because it includes revenue from 2 conferences. So because the period was extended, that 3-month period that was added on was just January to March, which is when the Guelph Organic Conference occurs. So events expenses and events revenue were quite a lot higher for this audited period. And moving on to fundraising and other, this is a category that includes many of the other operations that OCO does. So advertising, the sale of educational materials, fee-for-service revenue, the production contribution payments, and other partnerships. And then the membership line is just memberships. And an important note for this audited period is that the membership system changed during the period. So up until December 31st, OCO had a system where members would buy a membership for a specific year. And this has shifted to a 365-day membership model. So This just has changed some of the way that we recognize revenue. Now we defer portions of each membership when they're purchased. So the statement of membership revenue will be affected by that change. But as we move into future periods, it'll become more consistent and easier to compare against past periods. Expenses are relatively self-explanatory, but if there are any questions, I can speak on them.
Nothing in the chat.
Great. Okay. So I'll just move on to the statement of cash flows and just take us through the rest of the report. If you could just go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is just the statement of cash flows during the year. As you can see, the CEBA loan was paid off during the year. There's not much to see here unless anyone has any specific questions. And if not, I will move on to the next slide. Great. So the rest of the audit report is a review of the accounting policies and notes about the year. The important changes, some of which I've already highlighted. So I'll just take you through. There's a small amount of deferred revenue posted in this period related to some conference invoices that for the 2026 conference that were invoiced at an early bird rate. So that revenue is being deferred to the next period. And then as well, deferrals based on the new membership model. Another note that the auditors make is the repayment of the CEBA loan. And then if you could go to the next slide. Just some final notes. Oh yeah, so next slide, sorry. And yeah, the auditors also note the change in the fiscal year as just an important note for this document. And then finally, the financial instruments section outlines the various risks related to the organization's assets and liabilities, and just helps to ensure transparency and compliance with accounting standards. This is a standard portion of the report. And that takes us to the end of the audited financial statements. Are there any questions before we move on to the bylaw changes?
Brazil, for what it's worth, I think this is a very excellent section of the AGM. So don't sell yourself short. And I appreciate all the work that you put in throughout the year to help us in managing this and your work through the audit process. I think, this tells a really positive story of the organization continuing to be resilient and the work that goes in from the team to secure funding, to find those grants, to write wonderful applications and sell through the hard work that they're going to do is what allows us to keep pushing forward. So thanks for keeping that all in check.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go into bylaws, we do need to approve our auditors for next year, to reinstate Cranes and LaRose as our auditors for next year. So we'll need a motion for that. Can I get someone to do a first for that?
Norm has moved in the comments and I will second.
Perfect.
Thank you, Lauren. Any opposed? I can't see everyone. I'm just checking the chat, but seeing none, we will say that the motion has passed.
All right.
And for participating there.
All right, Krysten, this is on to you.
All right, so a little more kind of housekeeping, but important things. So we have two bylaw changes that we have proposed and that we would like to confirm here, and they relate actually to what you just saw. So as was mentioned, we have moved our fiscal year. And so instead of that being December 31st, it is now March 31st. And so we need to recognize that. So the amended the amended bylaw change proposes that the fiscal year end move from December 31st to March 31st. This will better align for our financial year with program funding, timelines. It just makes reporting and planning smoother. So I would like to call a motion to put that bylaw change into action. If I could have someone support the motion.
So just to clarify, the bylaw changes, this one and the next slide, they've already been firsted and seconded, pardon my grammar, during the board meeting. So we'll just have to vote on.
Got it. Sorry, thank you for reminding me about that. So I see, Bruce, you have your hand up. Thank you for your support there, unless that's a question. Nope, you can just give me a head shake, no. And so if anyone would like to abstain, please indicate that in the chat. Otherwise, I will just ask, is there any opposition to this bylaw change? I'm just scrolling through the little squares, looking in the chat. So seeing none, we will move forward with the bylaw change. Thank you. And then we have one additional bylaw change that we'd like to confirm. And this has to do with the notice period for sharing documents in advance of our member meetings. And so it was previously set at 21 to 60 days, and we would like to amend that period to 14 to 60 days. This change aligns with provincial legislation and allows us to gives us more flexibility in providing timely notice when ensuring that there's things that our members need to be aware of, and that there is still meaningful time for members to participate, but better supports the organization from an administrative perspective to be able to manage that communication. So similarly, this motion was passed in a board meeting, so I'm looking for member support to push it forward. So if anyone would like to abstain, please indicate that. And if not, I will ask for any opposition. Seeing none, the bylaw change will pass. Thank you. All right. So we're going to announce the election results. Thank you to everyone who voted and for participating in that process. It's a really important part of how we set the board and how we make sure that your voice is being represented. So just as a reminder, we had the value chain certified position, the value chain uncertified position, producer director, and a supporter director positions all available. I don't know if we have the election results written down because it was all happening in real time. I think I'm just doing this, so you'll have to listen to me. But if you hear your name called, please stick around at the end of the AGM. We'll just have a quick gather with the board and the staff and those who have been elected to the board to kind of talk through what happens next. So I am very pleased to announce that in the value chain certified position, that Lauren Stallard-Wedderburn has been re-elected to continue her role on the board. In the producer director role, Dean Martin has been re-elected, and will be able to continue in that position. The supporter director, Norm Hansen, has been elected. Norm has been on the board in another role. So this, as a director at large, this brings Norm into our supporter position. And in the value chain uncertified position, we have Guillermo Anderson, who has been elected, who is new and is joining the board. I want to just acknowledge Hida Mans and Evan Hall, who were both also running. And if I could ask you guys to stick around at the end as well, so we can just chat through involvement with the board, that would be great. Thank you to everyone again for participating in this process, for putting your hand up to be part of the organization, and for those who voted to support the membership voice in seeing this through. And I think with that, I'm going to hand it back to Dr. Erica Shelley to keep us going.
Yes, so thank you so much and congratulations to our new board members. So first of all, I actually want to take a moment to acknowledge our board overall. We have an amazing board, and that's been one of the best things about working with OCO is to work with so many talented, passionate, and engaged people. So I just again want to thank the board. And I'm glad to see our returning board members coming back, and a warm welcome to you, to those of you that are newly elected. We're so glad to have you at the table. It's your time, energy, and perspective that really shape the direction of the organization, and we're looking forward to working together in the year ahead. So while we're saying hello to some of these new faces, we're also saying goodbye, or more accurately, see you soon, to two exceptional individuals who are stepping off our board after years of dedicated leadership. Can we go to the next slide, please? So first, Rob Walbridge. I think there's probably a good proportion of people on this meeting today who have met Rob in person, who have worked with Rob. He is so integral to Ontario Organic. So he joined the OCO board in 2016 and served as president and chair from 2018 to 2022. That's nearly a decade of leadership within OCO, and he's had his hands in just about everything. We said, what have you been involved in? So basically, he listed everything. So finance, policy, communications, governance, membership, outreach, standards, the organic standards, the Guelph Organic Conference, basically you name it. His impact is so hard to sum up. And he helped guide OCO through times of uncertainty and real transformation. When he joined, OCO was largely volunteer run and still working towards stability. Today, we're a professional, credible voice for organics, not just in Ontario, but across Canada. And that's thanks in no small part to Rob. When we asked him his thoughts on his time with OCO, he shared this with us. It has been amazing to watch OCO evolve from a largely volunteer-run organization to a professional and credible voice for the organic sector. I've also gotten to know lots of dedicated, passionate people involved in so many different parts of the organic community. It's a great reminder of how many people and roles it takes to make the sector thrive. Rob, thank you for your strategic insight, your deep roots in the sector, and your generosity with your time. I just want to say, if I have a question about standards, if I have a question about something, I literally will shoot off a message to Rob, and he will get back to me with a nice, deep answer that really has been monumental for my transition here. So thank you so much, Rob. We're actually grateful. The step down is from the board, but not from OCO. So he's still going to be on the committees, and we're really helpful to have your continued support through your committee work. I'd love for people, if you have interacted with Rob, if you have a special memory with Rob that you want to share, drop it in the chat. And I'm sure it will be well appreciated, and everybody will understand how awesome he is. So thank you, Rob. And of course, a little bit, it's a lot in terms of who's stepping down this year. And I will tell you, the stepping down came from, we think we've been around too long and we should have some fresh faces. And I'm really, really sad to see both Krysten and Rob stepping down. But we have to acknowledge Krysten as an incredible leader. She's our current board president and has been doing an amazing job. So she's been working with OCO for over 8 years, and starting before her official board term when she joined the working group on the checkoff program. Since then, she served in nearly every leadership role, secretary, vice chair, and chair, and has been a constant force on fundraising, finance, membership, and engagement initiatives. And again, I can message her, I can text her, she gets right back to me. And I'm really going to miss, from my perspective as the executive director, her involvement at OCO. Krysten, your fingerprints are all over OCO's recent successes. You've stewarded the Guelph Organic Conference. You've supported the launch of the Eco Scholar Awards, which you continue to lead with your passion through Yorkshire Valley Farms, and so much more. Like the list could go on and on and on. And we are so incredibly thankful, not just here at OCO, but the entire organic value chain in Ontario and across Canada. So we asked her to share some words for us as well. And what she had to share was, I'm proud of how the Ontario organic sector has grown, and proud of the staff at OCO, their grit and creativity in finding solutions for our community. And on a personal note, I've come to think of many of you as not just as colleagues, but as friends. Krysten, thank you for your calm leadership, your strategic mind, and your heart for this movement. Like Rob, we're so glad you'll be staying involved in other ways. Please join me in offering a heartfelt thank you to both Rob and Krysten. Feel free to drop a chat for both of those, a special memory, a word of thanks, and into the chat, and we'd really appreciate it. And so to the next slide, please, Bren. All right, so thank you all so much for joining us today and for being part of the Organic Council of Ontario's 2025 Annual General Meeting. This is my first AGM, so this is great. Not that I've attended, but that I've been a part of, and thank you so much in terms of nonprofits. So for our members, staff, partners, and supporters, thank you for your energy, your ideas, and your belief in our work. If you've been nodding along today, thinking, yes, this matters, please remember, none of it actually happens without you. Your membership, your involvement, and yes, your financial support are what keep us moving forward. We've got big plans this year. We've got a strategic plan that's guiding everything we do, from building public trust in the organic label to strengthening and diversifying Ontario's organic value chain, to making sure organics are supported at every policy table. It's not just about growth, it's about showing that organic offers real solutions for food security, climate resilience, and a healthier future. And with the momentum we're seeing across the sector, now's the time to lean in. So here's how you can get involved. There's lots of ways. You guys, if you've been to any of my talks, you know that I will tell you here are the real things you can do. So first of all, sign up for our newsletter. I'm assuming most of you have already. Share it with other people, but that's the easiest way to stay in the loop. You can do that right now on our new website. Also, people start seeing our social media if you follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and our YouTube channel, which we're really building out. Please subscribe to that and follow us on all of those places. You can join a committee. So committees are not just open to board members. So please reach out to us if you're interested in being on a committee. We've got space for your expertise, your voice, and even just your curiosity. Attend our events like the 45th Reimagined Guelph Organic Conference or one of our upcoming webinars. Talk to your community about why organic matters, because these are really powerful conversations. And if you believe in what we're doing, consider upgrading your membership or becoming an impact partner. We really need more impact partners. There's just not a better way to get across how important the work we're doing is when it is a part of every single purchase in organics. So the full recording of today's AGM, along with the slides, will be posted soon on our YouTube channel, our emails, and our website. So feel free to review it and please share it with your networks. And now I'm going to announce the winner of the raffle. I'm looking in my thing here. Do I have a winner? Hold on. Katie.
Need some drums.
Katie Fetz, you are the winner. Yay! Thank you again for being part. And I should say the raffle winner was a $100 gift certificate to Yorkshire Valley Farms. So thank you for being part of here and being part of this growing, resilient, and passionate organic community in Ontario. We're so excited about what's ahead, and we're glad to be on this journey with you. With that, I officially adjourn the 2025 Annual General Meeting of the Organic Council of Ontario. And we're going to head over to the chat and keep the conversation going. I know a lot of you are busy. Feel free to step away if you need to, but we definitely want to answer any questions, just chat with you and hear from you in the chat. So we also
I'm gonna sneak in before we officially adjourn.
do it.
I know it's been said, but I do just want to acknowledge Erica and Brazil from Raspberry, or sorry, from Juniper, Courtney, Sami, Bryn, and Irum. All that work that you saw, it doesn't happen without them, but even the work that went in today, I mean, we're getting emails at 6 a.m. trying to just make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. There's a lot of work that's gone into making sure that this meeting could happen. And for those board members who have been in board meetings with me of late, we never finish on time, despite my commitment to try to. So I want to congratulate Erica on the team on getting it done, not just on time, but a little bit early. Because yesterday when we were going through stuff, I said, guys, there's too much. We'll never finish on time. What can we cut? And yet here we are. So maybe it's just me getting out of the way.
No, it's not that. It's not that. No. We just have so much to cover because we're doing so much, right? So we had to really time it so that we didn't go over. And yeah, so
you nailed it. But I think that dedication, that precision, that planning, that insight that, even goes into something like this 1.5 hour meeting, that same passion and approach is being brought to all of our projects. And I think, from my perspective on the board, I'm really proud of the kind of progress and development. I mean, the new website, if you hadn't had a chance to take it out, here's my plug, please go check it out. But a website is a lot of work, and these guys hustled to make sure that was going to be ready for today, and that we'd be able to share that with everyone. And there's a lot of great information and resources in there. It's mobile friendly now. So, you can do it from your tractor, you can do it from your couch, wherever it makes it easier for you to get the information that you need to keep doing more of what you're passionate about. The team is really working to make that happen. So, okay, now you can officially adjourn.
All right. Well, you can officially adjourn as your final chair activity.
Norm, do I need a motion for that? Norm keeps me on track with my
Yeah, probably.
right.
I'll move it. I'll move adjourn.
Thanks. Let's do it right. All right. Can I please have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Norm. Anyone to second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Guillermo. Jumping in there as a new board member. Appreciate it. Anyone in opposition? Seeing none, the 2025 AGM will officially conclude. Thank you to everyone.
Yay. All right. And we can open the chat. People want to talk if they have any questions about what we're doing. If they want to share what they're doing, collaboration, we want to just open that up. And then once that's kind of done, the board members and the new board members and the other nominees, if you can all please stay on for a follow-up touch base, that would be fantastic. So, all right. And we can unmute people too. I think everybody's kind of unmuted across the board, but I don't know if you can unmute or not, but yeah.
Also, respectfully, if you have to go, we're not offended if you suddenly just drop out and disappear. I know what it takes to find an hour out of a morning to spend with something like this. So we do appreciate all the folks who gave us their time this morning and participated, and your passion and your enthusiasm in voting. Norm, I should have known you'd put your hand up.
I just doing it for old time's sake. The after board meeting with a new board, that's happening right away, or that's happening at 12 o'clock?
Just
it's
right
happening,
away.
Yeah, right away, and it won't be a full board meeting. It's just a
Yes, a get together.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. I think we're pretty quiet here, so I'm just gonna say let's keep the board on, and the rest of you are welcome to go about your day. Thank you so much for joining us.